Hey all, last week I shared with you a principle about living a life of focused on the journey as opposed to doing point-to-point living. And the lesson came out of looking at the life of Jesus. And so I thought that for the next few weeks I would actually settle there because the more I look at the life of Jesus, the more I realize there are so many behavioral and living and life lessons that we can take from that to emulate that we can afford to spend some time there. And this is true whether or not you're a Christ follower or not. These principles are general truths. They're just true about life. And the one I wanted to focus on today is one that comes out of a very curious story. It's found in Mark chapter 8. Mark, who is one of the people who researched and wrote about Jesus' life, talks about how Jesus came to this village called Bethsaida. And as he came into the village, a whole number of people brought a man to him who was blind. And they begged him, hey, we want you to heal him. And then Jesus did something very curious with this man. It says that he led him out of the village. In other words, he pulled him away from everybody and interacts with him one-on-one. And he proceeds to heal the man. And then he does something even more curious when he's done. He tells the man to go home and don't even go into the village. The man's home was apparently not in the village. It was somewhere else, somewhere outside of that. And I thought, why would he do that? Now, we have to infer a little bit from the context, but you can see, because Jesus does this repeatedly, that what Jesus always does, always, was uphold the dignity of the people that he interacted with. So we read this over and over. We hear when he was healing a deaf man, he pulled him away from a crowd. When he was raising a girl from the dead, he sent everybody out of the room except for the people that were in the middle, and really important to it. This just happened over and over and over again. He cast out a demon, and when crowds were running to see the spectacle, he dealt with it before the crowds could form. Well, why? Because the dignity of people, their value and their worth was very important to Jesus. And so if we want to follow in the ways of Jesus, we need to become people who are always upholding the dignity of other people. Well, what does that even mean, to uphold the dignity of someone else? To uphold the dignity of someone else is simply this, and I wrote it down because I want to make sure you got it. It's to preserve their value, or to act or speak with their love or best interests in mind. That means when we interact with someone, it's not all about us. It means putting them at the center of an interaction and not me and not someone else. It means when we interact with people, with whether we say or what we do, we are always looking to leave them in a better place than when we found them. So it might mean that when you're speaking, if the words you're going to say is going to run them down, make them feel worse about themselves, maybe it's better not to say it. That's the biggest problem with sarcastic humor. Sarcastic humor, and a lot of you grew up with that, is always at the expense of someone else and never upholds their dignity. That's why it has no place in most of our lives. Maybe it's in what you do, that the actions you're going to take, the eye roll, the shrug, those kind of things, is going to make someone look demeaned or lower their worth or value in the eyes of another. That's not upholding dignity. Perhaps it's a confrontation or something that you need to say, but if doing it in a public space is going to leave them in a place that's awkward or feeling ashamed or guilty, because we never want to shame someone that doesn't uphold their dignity, maybe we should hold off until we're alone. I wonder what this world would be like if every single person we interacted with left, and this is the question to ask, when we left that interaction, that they left saying, I am in a better place, I am better off because they interacted with you than before. Because if the answer to that question is, are they better off from this interaction or not? And the answer is no, then perhaps there needs to be an adjustment in how you deal with them. Because if all of us upheld the dignity of every single person we met, what an amazing world this would be. Have a great week. Till next time.